Now to adjust the numerator we must know the breakup of this cost. Let's say that 100 comprised of two overheads. First one was warehousing, 75. What does warehousing means? Rent of warehouse, security guards cost, warehouse heating, lighting, any expenses which I incurred for maintenance of warehouse. And let's say the labor expenses from these 100 were 25. What does labor expenses mean? Conveyance allowance to laborers for going anywhere, canteen expenses for lunch or food of laborers, any sort of housing arrangements provided within the factory premises to laborers. So basically what we did, we broke this 100 into two categories. We said that out of 100, 75 overheads were due to warehousing and 25 overheads were because of laborers. Now for each sort of activity, for example warehousing, I know that I incurred overheads of 75 for warehousing, and I know that I incurred overheads of 25 for labor expenses. I will analyze what actually was the factor which led to these overheads and to these overheads. Now since this is warehousing cost, logically I can say that if A had more units in warehouse, more cost of warehousing should be allocated on A. If B had more units in warehouse, more cost of overhead should be allocated to units of B. Likewise, for labor cost, I can say that if laborers worked more for product A, more of the expenses of canteen, expenses of laborers, their housing expenses should be allocated on A. And if more time from laborers was used for the production of B, it will be very logical to allocate more of the labor expenses to B. So what I do is calculate two overheads absorption rates, one for warehousing and one for labor. How can I do this? In our example, we are producing 5 units of A and 5 units of B. We can say that the OAR for warehousing should be 75 divided by 5 plus 5, which is 10 units or 7.5. And we should allocate overheads of 100 into two portions. Number one, 75 for warehousing, and this should be allocated on the basis of 7.5 per unit of each product, which will come out to be 37.5 for A, 7.5 into 5, and 37.5 for B, 7.5 into 5. And now what will we do is that we know that units of A consumed, there were 5 units and each unit consumed 5 labor hours, and therefore the total hours were 25. And for B, we produced 5 units and each unit took 15 hours, therefore the total hours for B were 75, and therefore the net total hours were 100. So since more labor time was consumed on B as compared to A, we should allocate more cost towards B. So what we do is we calculate an OAR for labor's cost, 25 or overheads value divided by 100, the total of labor hours consumed during the year, which will give us 0.25, and we allocate these costs accordingly. For A, 0.25 multiplied by 25, and for B, 0.25 multiplied by 75. 0.25 into 25 is 6.25, and 0.25 into 75 is 18.75. So in ABC costing, what we did was we adjusted the numerator. We broke it into two portions from 100 into 75 and 25, and we actually reflected a more truer picture. Now if you compare overheads, when we were in example number 1, the overheads allocation was 50 and 50. It did not reflect the efforts which A and B took. We just simply divided on number of units. In example number 2, we adjusted our denominator and the overheads allocation was 25 and 75. We reflected the efforts put on A. Since each unit of A took only 5 hours and each unit of B took 15 hours, which is thrice. The overheads allocation reflected this because 75 is thrice of, this 75 is thrice of 25. The overheads allocated on A multiplied by 3 is equal to overheads allocated on B. And in example number 3, we also adjusted our numerator. We analyzed the factors which actually were related to these overheads, and we distributed the overheads into two portions. So in this example, our total overheads on A are this 37.5 and 6.25. 37.25 and 37.5 and 6.25 are 43.75, and for B they are 37.5 and 18.75, which is 56.25. So to conclude, ABC or activity based costing breaks up your numerator into different portions, and you calculate separate overhead absorption rates based on the factors that led to these overheads and based on the factors that led to these overheads, and you absorb the overheads one by one for each factor into your products A and product B. Well, I will now recommend you to go through the handout that I have uploaded on my Facebook page, Accountancy Guide. This is a Facebook group where I upload my notes. I also upload my notes on CA counselors, and you can solve the questions given on those websites and read about ABC costing and basic concepts handout of ABC costing. Thank you everyone for watching the video. This video ends over here. Thank you everyone, and hopefully I will solve an exam question in my next video.